Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share something with you, and let me be crystal clear to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Just imagine being buried alive. You're in a coffin, but you know you're not dead. You try to open the lid, but the enormous weight of the dirt prevents you from opening the lid. You then think today is the day you're going to die. But then you say, maybe if I bang on the lid, I'll unsettle the dirt that's upon the lid, and maybe someone on top might notice and start digging their way down towards me. This is what it's like to find yourself at the lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help. You know you can't do it completely on your own, but you don't know where to get help. In reality, probably, there are people standing at your grave. You don't know that. You just think today you're going to die. Usually, though, people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind while you were abusing drugs and alcohol that maybe, just maybe, you might overdose and take something away from not just yourself, your life, your precious life, from what was given to you by God, away from yourself, but your precious life will be taken away from your loved ones, your family, people like your children, your grandchildren, your husband, your wife, your parents. With this, let me leave one last thought. Don't be the person in the coffin that I just read about, alive, looking for help when it's too late. Instead, be a person that reaches out to for help and says, Ralph, I need help with my depression. I need help with my low self-esteem. I need help with my alcohol and drug abuse. Call me at 844-405-HELP, and I promise you, I will help you take your life back before your life is gone. People like Larry Geis from the Geis Academy at 516-458-2741, 516-458-2741. Larry Geis is an addiction recovery coach, a life coach, like I am, but he has over 30 years experience. Him and I always tell people like you that it doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter where you've been. What matters is that you're here and you're reaching out for help. Call Larry Geis at 516-458-2741, or you can email him at not email him, but you can look up his website at www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geis and I are standing by waiting to hear from you, but you need to reach out to him today at 516-458-2741. In today's society, being a veteran and or a active service member is what it's all about. These poor people, like I am a veteran, have not been getting the care so desperately needed. The VA hospital makes it very hard for anyone to get care in a proper and timely manner. A lot of folks that are coming back from Iraq, Afghanistan, are dealing with issues like depression and other issues, mood disorders, and they need the help. So today's topic, I want to talk about getting veterans disability compensation for depression. If you can show a service connection for depression, your VA disability rating may be based on your functioning and how impaired you are. Veterans may suffer from depression as a result of physical injury, an incident that happened in the service, or as a result of other mental conditions. Veterans are eligible for service-connected disability compensation for depression. Now, mind you, when I said that there's issues, my biggest complaint with the VA hospital is the timely matter of how you get the treatment you need, how the VA classifies depression. In the VA schedule of ratings, disability depression is listed under a category mood disorders. 2 depression diagnoses are listed, symptomatic disorder and major depressive disorder. Major depression, a diagnosis of a major depressive disorder requires at least 2 major episodes of depression lasting at least 2 weeks, as well as symptoms afterwards that significantly impairs your daily functioning. These symptoms include a lack of interest in most of your activities, feeling depressed most of the day, inability to sleep or sleeping excessively, feeling fatigue, low energy, and thinking of death constantly. Excuse me one second. Sorry, I had to answer a text. So the major depression symptoms are, again, a lack of interest in most of your activities, feeling depressed most of the day, feeling very fatigued or low energy most of the day, sleeping excessively, and thinking frequently about death. Schizophrenic disorder is generally less severe but more long-term than major depressive disorder. It requires feeling depressed for 2 years or more for most of the time while having symptoms that significantly interference with functioning, such as low self-esteem, feeling hopeless, and difficulty concentrating and making decisions. Establishing direct service connection for depression. To be eligible for disability compensation program, the veteran needs to show that depression is connected to his or her military service. The following is required to prove direct service connection: a current diagnosis of depression as described, evidence of incident in service that caused the depression, medical evidence of link, causation between the current depression diagnosis and the incident in the service. Veterans with depression prior to service. In some cases, a veteran may have suffered from depression prior to entering service, and events in service that may have caused the depression to get worse. In these cases, it may be possible to obtain disability benefits on theory of aggravated service connection. If incident happened during active duty and the depression got worse. Aggravated service connection for pre-existing diagnosis of depression requires the following: a current diagnosis of depression by a VA doctor, psychiatrist, or psychologist, evidence of an incident in service that worsened the depression, medical evidence of link between the worsening of depression and the incident in service. In addition, the veteran will have to prove that depression was pre-existing condition. The easiest way to do this is when the depression is noted on the veteran's entrance medical exam. If it is not, the veteran will have to produce medical evidence of pre-service diagnosis of depression. The fact alone that depression worsens during military service will not be enough. A medical opinion is needed from the veteran psychiatrist or psychologist stating that the in-service incident was responsible for the worsening of the depression. Otherwise, the VA may conclude that the increase of depression symptoms was simply due to natural progression of depression that they will deny the benefits. Depression due to physical service-connected condition. It is not unusual for a veteran to develop depression as a result of physical condition. When a veteran has a physical disability, it is possible to apply for an increase in disability compensation for depression. This can be done under the theory of secondary service connection. Establishing secondary service connection for depression requires the following: a current diagnosis of depression, a service-connected physical disability, and a medical evidence of link between depression and service-connected physical disability. A doctor's opinion will normally be required to prove the physical condition created the depression. Depression secondary to another mental disorder. VA disability lawyers generally advise veterans not to seek secondary service connection for the additional mental disorder caused by service-connected disorder, as this would likely lead to reduced rating. The VA would probably respond by stating that since not all the symptoms are caused by the service-connected mental disorder, a lower rating is justified. How the VA rates depression. The VA rates depression along with other mental disorders according to general rating formula for mental disorders. Depression is rated according to how much it impairs the veteran's social and occupation abilities. While depression symptoms are relevant to particular diagnosis a veteran is given, they have no impact in the actual rating. The rating is based on effects of symptoms on veterans' disability to function, not on symptoms themselves. The available ratings for depression are 0%, 10%, 30%, 50%, 70%, or 100%. A 100% rating is warranted only where a veteran has absolutely no ability to function socially or at work. A 0 rating is assigned where, despite depression symptoms, a veteran's ability to function is not actually impaired. A 0 rating is still helpful, however, it entitles the veteran to VA benefits such as health care. How do you apply for a disability based on depression? You can apply for disability online by filling in an application for the Veterans Compensation and/or Pension, or contacting your local VA office. Getting veterans disability compensation for depression. If you can show service connection for depression, your VA disability rating will be based on how you're functioning, impaired socially, and at work. How does the VA classify depression? In the VA Schedule of Ratings Disabilities, depression is listed under the category of mood disorders. 2 depression diagnoses are listed, and the 2 are seismic disorder and major depressive disorder. Major depression, a diagnosis of major depressive disorder, requires at least 2 major episodes of depression lasting at least 2 weeks, as well as symptoms afterwards that significantly impair your daily functioning. These symptoms include a lack of interest in most of your activities, feeling depressed most of the day, inability to sleep or sleeping excessively, feeling very fatigued or low energy, and thinking frequently about death. Symptomatic disorder is generally less severe but more long-term than major depressive disorder. It requires feelings depressed for 2 years or more most of the time, while having symptoms that significantly interfere with functioning, such as low self-esteem, feeling hopeless, and difficulty concentrating making decisions. Establishing direct service connection. To be eligible for disability compensation program, the veteran needs to show that the depression is connected to his military service, either during or prior, and if it's prior, they will see if the during enlistment escalated the depression that was existing prior. If you're veterans with depression prior to service, a diagnosis of depression will be performed by a VA doctor. Evidence of incidents in service that worsened the depression has to be determined. Medical evidence of link between worsening of depression and incident that is pre-existing in the service. Depression due to physical service-connected condition. It is unusual for a veteran to develop depression as a result of physical condition. When a veteran has a physical disability resulting from service that has found to be service-connected, it is possible to apply for increased disability for depression. The establishing secondary service connection depression requires the following: a current diagnosis of depression, a service-connected physical disability, and medical evidence of link between depression and service-connected physical disability. Depression secondary to another mental disorder. VA disability lawyers generally advise veterans not to seek secondary service connection for additional mental disorder caused by service-connected disorder, as that this would likely lead to a reduced ratings. And before we finish, I want to discuss these ratings one more time. These are the ratings: 0, 10, 30, 50, 70, or 100. Now, mind you, a 0 is still a helpful rating because it allows you for VA health benefits. 100% rating is warranted only when a veteran has absolutely no ability to function socially or at work, and then a 0 is still better than nothing. If you need to apply based disability based on depression, you can go to your VA website and fill out an online application for veterans compensation and/or pension, or by contacting your local VA office. Folks, it's a huge, huge topic problem. The VA hospital needs to speed up the service. The VA hospital has to show more compassion and respect to the veterans and active service members. I speak from experience. As a veteran myself in the United States Marine Corps, I know for all the times that I've been to the VA hospital that the red tape and the bureaucratic BS that happens is unacceptable. Remember, we as veterans, you as a veteran, We gave so much to defend freedom for this country, and the least we ask in return is for someone to please treat us when we need help. I hope to God, no matter where you are today, that you have the best day of your life. I hope you have a happy day of your life. But more importantly, I hope you have a sober rest of your life. And may God bless all of you.